Hello and welcome to this overview of fake widows in historical romance. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot. You're watching Random Olive Reads. So, what exactly is a fake widow? Now, this is a subtrope of fake identity, with a woman assuming the identity of a widow, even if she's never been married before. Now, this usually from a few different reasons. She either needs a different identity to protect her reputation and or scandalous past, either she has a child out of wedlock or something like that, or she needs a different identity to avoid being found by someone villainous. Widowhood also provides protection from society and allows the woman to move freely about society. She's allowed to go out to the park or the shops without a chaperone. She's given more leeway for scandalous activities. She can live alone, etc. So, being a widow has its advantages. First up, we have Indiscreet by Mary BALOGH, which is book one of the Horseman trilogy. In this one, we didn't actually realize that this is a fake widow situation. We meet this person as a widow. So we have Rex Adams, who is a Viscount riding with his friends to visit his identical twin brother in a house party. Now, his sister in law tries to set him up with her own sister, but Rex is more interested in the lovely widow he encountered riding through town, and her name is Catherine. Now, Catherine finds Rex attractive, but she rejects his advances. That's not quite enough to subdue the town gossips, so Rex and Catherine find themselves in some sort of scandal, especially Catherine with her mysterious past. Now, it looks like Rex's days of debauchery are over as he tries to do the honorable thing, and then we do eventually learn about Catherine's secrets after one of Rex's friends recognizes her from her past life as Lady Catherine. Next, we have Impeccable by Darcy Burke. This is book 7 of the Phoenix Club series. If you've read any of the books in the series up till this point, including the prequel, you'll know that Mrs. Evangeline Renshaw is a fake identity for the Phoenix Club manager and patroness. She was actually previously a very sought after courtesan. When she ended her liaison with the son of a duke, he asked her to help him manage his new club, and she has been living under her assumed identity of a respectable widow ever since. When she visits her sister, who she can't actually publicly claim as her sister because she was also previously a courtesan, she rescues a puppy, befriends the younger brother of the Marquess next door, and start this really cute friendship. Now, Gregory wants to court her, but she doesn't want marriage, so he proposes an affair instead. And this guy is like the absolute sunshiniest fellow you've ever met, and probably a bit too good to be true. The bond they have over the puppy they find is absolutely adorable. And of course, Evie's history and reputation are soon to be at risk, with lots of background drama with Gregory's skeezy brother and other people at the Phoenix Club. The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne is book 1 of the Victorian Rebel series. Now, this one has a super sad prologue. We start with two young kids at an orphanage who befriend each other, teach each other to read, help with sneaking food, and overall protect each other. We eventually have a very sweet little childhood wedding in a chapel before absolute chaos happens. The girl is attacked by a priest, and then the boy attacks the priest and gets sent to jail. Many years later, our girl is a widow working at the police station. She's not actually a widow, she just is clinging to the name of her childhood friend and love. Now, the most notorious criminal in London gets dragged into the police station and he sees her and wants her, so when the opportunity arises, he kidnaps her and takes her to his Scottish castle to marry. Lots of drama and angst in this one, so reader beware. A Rake's Guide to Pleasure by Victoria Dahl is book 2 of the Summerheart series. Now, Emma is an orphan who is posing as a widowed baroness to gamble her way through London before the season begins. She's trying to save up enough money to escape to a seaside cottage and support herself and her maid. With her scandalous gambling, though, she's caught the attention of Hart, who is a stern and serious duke with a history of debauched behavior. He insists she'll become his mistress, but she is hesitant and shy about it. There's a lot of chasing each other and bickering in the story. Mostly seems like Hart is a distraction from Emma's real goals. He does ultimately sort of redeem himself, but it's a pretty long and humbling road for him. Would I Lie to the Duke by Eva Lee is book 2 of the Union of the Rake series. And Noel, who is a duke from book 1, we get to meet him again when he meets an intriguing woman who has a head for business. She doesn't fuss at him for his title, and she is entirely attractive. However, Jess is merely a farmer's daughter hoping to find investors for her family's soap making business. When she tries to sneak her way into a business exposition, she is nearly halted at the door and ends up having to pretend to be a widow to gain entrance. While she's there, she tries hard to focus on finding ways to subtly promote the soap business and avoid the attentions of the Duke, but can't seem help being drawn to him. Now, this one, I spent most of the book anxious about the impending heartache because I knew that Noel would be upset at the idea of being used for his connections and money, even though Jess was trying to avoid his involvement at all. So in this case, we have another one where the female is a widow for an express purpose, and she's trying to get her business done and get out of there, but is just entirely distracted by the guy in the story. Once a Fallen Lady by Eve Pendle is book 2 of the Fallen series. So this book actually takes place concurrently with book 1. So if you read that one, I recommend reading this one too. We get to follow the lives of the young woman who was ruined in book 1 and now her 10-year-old illegitimate daughter. Now, of course, in order to keep her reputation and her daughter's reputation, Lydia has been living as a fraudulent widow in a small village and raising her daughter Annie there. When Annie gets ill, Lydia doesn't have any money to send for the doctor, but the school teacher Alfred notices Annie's absence and comes to check on them. Over the course of Annie's illness, Alfred comes to visit. He brings food and books and helps run errands for Lydia. This one is a relatively short, super quick read with Alfred definitely falling first and Lydia thinking she's not worthy of him. And lastly, we have The Accidental Mistress by Tracy Ann Warren. This is book 2 of the Mistress Trilogy series. We have Lily, who fakes her death to escape her stepfather and the man that her stepfather arranged for her to marry. She dresses up as a boy to travel to London and meets handsome Marquess Ethan along the way. When in London to claim an inheritance left by her maternal grandfather, she needs to pose as a widow in order to have control of her money. A short while later, Lily and Ethan cross paths again at a society dinner, and he pursues her for an affair. This book is pretty similar to the Victoria Doll book that I talked about earlier. There's a lot of back and forth here as Lily refuses at first and then eventually gives in to her desires. Eventually, though, Lily has all these secrets. Ethan has this ongoing verbal understanding with the young lady's father. It's kind of a big mess. It's not so much miscommunication, it's just Ethan was overly pursuant of Lily's attentions, and then they kind of get stuck in this mess. Hopefully you found something interesting to pick up and read. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.